So last year I stumbled upon this amazing thing called the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon. Now the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon, I'm not sure when it was created, but I do know that I first experienced it last year, and it was made, or rather it was created by Injeri over at Onyx Pages, who I think is one of the most intelligent, articulate, brilliant, amazing people on this planet, on this platform. I'll just plug it in here and say, if you're not following Injeri, you absolutely should be. Go check out her channel at Onyx Pages. I'm going to leave it down in the description bar below so you can go check it out. But Injeri came up with the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon, which basically marries Kwanzaa with books, whereby we look at the principles of Kwanzaa and we look at the books that we read in the year that perfectly reflect this principle of Kwanzaa. And every year you're meant to just think back and take a moment and actually look at what you've learned from books. Look at what it is that these books have taught you. Look at how it is that these books have enriched your lives. And I had such an amazing time with it last year. So imagine my delight and my surprise when she asked me to be an ambassador of the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon this year. And I'm like, I'm so awed. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Jerry. It's an honor. It's my pleasure. I'm just so happy about this. Now this year, Njeri is doing something a little bit different. She's calling it the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon Challenge, whereby we're all to deliberate on the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, pick a book for each of this principle, film a video talking about the principle and the book we chose, upload it, let Njeri know, and she would enter all the participant names in this draw, and she would choose one lucky winner who would win 7 books. Yeah, that's quite a stack. 7 books, all by African-descended authors, and she would, send to said person the winner of the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon Challenge, This is an amazing opportunity because I repeat, last year I participated in the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon and I did win a book. She sent me the 5th season, which is the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. So Njeri has absolutely excellent taste in books. So remember what I said. Look at the principles of Kwanzaa. Look at all the books you've read in the year. See which books actually fit which of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Film your video stating, the 7 books, the principles, etc. Let Njeri know, and make sure that you film this between 26th of December and the 1st of January, which are the 7 days of Kwanzaa. I am going to leave Njeri's announcement video down in the description bar below. I'm also going to leave the videos of the other ambassadors for their Kwanzaa ReflectAthon Challenge down in the description bar below. So you can look at all our collective videos, you can look at the books we chose, you can see our explanations. It might actually help you in, filming yours and choosing what book fits for which principle. And once again, I'm also going to leave down the date for you to upload your video. So it's going to be between the 26th of December and the 1st of January. And I sincerely hope you participate because I want to see all the books you all chose. I want to see which books, left such an impression and enriched your life in such an amazing, unique way. So yeah, here are my own answers to the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon Challenge. So the first principle is Umoja, which stands for unity, and we are to choose a book that centers the upliftment of African-descended people. And for that, I'm going with On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This book, we follow Bree, who is a 16-year-old black girl who dreams of becoming a rapper, who dreams of changing the financial situation of her family, who dreams of being able to tell her story, of being able to put her talent for the entire world to see. And in this book, we follow her journey, even as she deals with society trying to label her as something that she isn't, just because she's rightfully angry at that system and rightfully wants a better life for herself and other black kids like her who are going to school, who are facing this discrimination on a day-to-day basis. And I love this book. I enjoy this. Angie Thomas always knows how to tell a very gripping, touching story. And in this, we being able to see Bree actively make this decision, being able to understand that she's doing this in order to help her family, in order to give voice to the pains that her people are feeling, and being able to do that with her talent, with her rap. It was just amazing. I love this, and I think that this for me definitely speaks to unity, the unity within the community, the fact that they actually also all rallied around her in order to help her have a message put out into the world, the unity of her family, because her brother has got her back. Her mother, even though she keeps telling her she should go to school, she should do this, ultimately also does agree with her being able to pursue her dreams. So you have the unity of the community, you have the unity of the family, and together it just leads to the upliftment of the entire group as a whole. So yeah, definitely I think On the Come Up by Angie Thomas totally fits this principle. The second principle is Kujichagulia, which is self-determination, and we are to choose a book with an African-descended LGBTQ plus character who inspired us because they were determined as fuck. Okay, for that I am going to go with Abbott, which was written by Salina Ahmed. This is a comic book that features Elena Abbott, a black news reporter in Chicago in 1972. She's the only woman in a newspaper. She's the only black person in a newspaper. As such, she has to deal with both the sexism and the racism that is inherent in the system. But Elena Abbott is my bisexual queen. She does not step back. She does not give up. She's very relentless, whether she's pursuing a lead or tearing the police force new assholes for not protecting the black folks in Chicago. I love this comic. I loved it. It's a single issue. I wish there were more issues because I found it very engaging. I loved Elena Abbott's determination. This is someone that legitimately had people quaking in their boots because they knew that Elena Abbott was like a dog with a bone. Once she sank her teeth into a story, it didn't matter whatever you said, it didn't matter what you sent in her way, she's going to follow that lead all the way to the finish line. And even if it means that it's going to involve like exposing the corruption of the entire police force, even if it is that she has everybody worried for her safety, and by everybody I mean that the woman who loves her, who is also partly a hired assassin, and a boss, and even her ex-husband, like she basically does not care. She does not give a fuck. She's just persistent and consistent, and she inspires me. She inspires me to never let go of my drive. She inspires me to never compromise. She inspires me to always demand the utmost best, to demand the absolute professionalism, to demand what is due me, and to not allow anybody, any opinion, any of the naysayers keep me down, to push against a system that will want to see me subjugated. I cannot stop talking about the amazingness and perfection that is Elena Abbott, and I think that she fits this principle of Kujichagulia perfectly well, because self-determination, your name is Elena Abbott. And then there is the third principle, which is Ujima, which stands for collective work and responsibility. We are to choose a book in which a diverse group of characters work together towards a goal, and for that I'm going with The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. This is a treasure hunting book. This is a book about a heist. This is also a book about the most unlikeliest of people coming together in order to, one, contribute their each individual unique skills in order to get what they want. You have Severin, who wants back the power that was taken away from him, because this was set in 19th century France, and the leading houses of France have done it in such a way that there's only space for one man of color at the top. It was either him or Hypnos, and they went with Hypnos, who is another man of color in this book. You have Severin, you have Hypnos, who is also dealing with what it means, who is also aware that these houses are still monitoring his every movement, who also has to deal with the fact that he wears his blackness very openly on his skin, and he has to deal with the racism that comes with that, even though he is one of the higher classes. You have Enrique, who wants to be a freedom fighter, but his people will not accept him because he looks more white than Filipino, even though he is part Filipino. You have Sophia, who is Jewish and who is on the spectrum, and who was bullied, and when she reacted was tossed out of school, but can't tell her family the truth because they are dependent on her. They're dependent on her getting an education, giving them all a better life. You have Laila, who is this Indian girl who is trying to figure out exactly her roots, who she is, where she comes from. You have Tristan, who is loyal to Severin and who has forged a brotherhood with him that is not in blood but is in will, in love, in devotion. You have this merry band of different people, each with their own agenda, each with the different issues that they are dealing with, coming together to pull off a heist, and the way they work well, the way each of their individual skill set and abilities comes to play in this book was just amazing. Like diversity and working together towards a common goal. Thy Name is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. Like, love this book. Love this book, and I think it does fit Ujima perfectly well. And then there's the fourth principle, Ujamaa, which is Cooperative Economics. We're to choose a book that got us thinking about sharing economic resources, and for me, the book for me that did that so well was Steadfast by Sarina Bowen. In this, we follow Jude, a character who is a recovering addict and who had to stay with a family in Vermont, well, just immediately after he left prison, one, to be able to slowly acclimatize himself to the outside world, but also because being able to work is actually helps to get his mind away from his addiction. And I love the fact that the Shipleys came together to give him a home. Not only did they provide for him, not only did they give him a job, but they also provided shelter, they also provided family commitment, they also provided him with love, they also provided him with a place to come back to whenever it was that the outside world would not let him forget who he is and what he's been through. He comes back to the Shipleys and they open their hearts, they open their coffers, they provide him both with love and financial resources, that everything it is that he needs at that point in time. And even on the times when Jude is back home, he also works at his church's soup kitchen. He helps to cook, he helps to provide meals for other people who are also less privileged within the society. I love the different themes of giving back that was present in Steadfast, and how it is that just a little kindness, a little sharing can help to change people's life around. So yes, I think that Steadfast by Sarina Bowen was totally the book that spoke to me with regards to Jama. And then there's the fifth principle, Nia, which stands for purpose. And we are to choose a book in which an African-descended character found or discovered their purpose. And the book for me that works for that principle is What Sunny Saw in the Flames by Nnedi Okorafor. You probably know it as Akata Witch, in which we followed 13-year-old Sunny, who just returned from the States to Nigeria, and who, together with Olu, Chichi, and Sasha, an African-American boy, discovered that one, they do have magical powers, they have juju, and also that their powers existed for them to save other children like them who are being kidnapped and killed for rituals by the villain in the story. I loved seeing Sonia and her friends come into their own. I love seeing them discover their powers. I love seeing them discover how it is that their different characters actually also give birth to the abilities that they have. And I love seeing them grow, and I love the fact that this book is a duology, with me that we're going to see their powers even develop some more. But I do think that for Naya, for purpose, What Sunny Saw in the Flames or Akata Witch totally fits this principle of Kwanzaa. There's Kuumba, which stands for creativity, and we're to choose a book in which African-descended character demonstrated power through creativity, and for that I'm going with this book, The Poet X by Elizabeth Azevedo. I read it this year, and in this we follow Xiomara. She's Afro-Latinx, and she is a spoken word writer, and it is through her spoken word poetry that she's able to, be able to tell her story, to get her mother to see her for who she is, 3, create a future for herself, and 4, find an outlet for the strict religious upbringing that she's been growing up under. I loved this book. I loved the lyricism of it. I also loved how it was that Xiomara's creativity, ability, as spoken word prowess was her way out, was her way to finding connection, to finding love, to finding escape. And I just loved how layered it was in this book, and I do absolutely think that this perfection of a book speaks to the principle of Kuumba like perfectly, amazingly well. Like, she finds her power in words, and demonstrates it in words as well, and is able to change her entire life, and the life of people around her with those words. And I found that very beautiful, extremely beautiful. And then there's the final principle of the Kwanzaa ReflectAthon challenge, and that is Imani, which stands for faith. And for me, I'm going to be going with Becoming by Michelle Obama, because I'm not really that much of a religious person, but I do believe in having faith in yourself, in your abilities, in the way in which you can change your world. You can change your life, you can change the lives of those around you. And I think that Michelle Obama, through a memoir, was able to show us how she did that, how she was able to, through belief, through faith in her abilities, through faith in what she is meant to do, was able to evoke such changes. And reading her stories definitely strengthened my faith in myself, in what I can do, in what I'm I'm capable of, and the fact that no matter where it is that I started from, like where I'm going is going to be so much better, and that I have all the abilities, I have all the skills, I definitely have the strength and the drive to accomplish whatever it is that I set my mind to do. And I definitely got that and more from Becoming, and I think that it's a perfect representation of the principle of Imani for Kwanzaa. So yeah, those are the 7 Kwanzaa principles, and those are 7 books I read this year that I think perfectly reflect that. Please make your own video as well. Look at the 7 principles, look through the books you've read, let us know what 7 books you've read fit those 7 principles. At Injeri on Twitter once you've done your video so she can see it, and you'll be entered in for a draw, and who knows, you just might be able to walk away with that stack of 7 books, which I am certain you would enjoy. But yeah, that is this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.